Yeah. All right. We in the building.
I got nothing. There you go.
You got something. There you go. Come on.
Ha! You're too much, you know that? All right. Yeah. Why, thank you. Applause. Gotta get you that rim shot. That didn't even sound right. Hello. Good evening. How are you? I'm sorry we're running a little bit late this evening, but that's okay, because you know what? We're here. And tonight, our show was Show Us Your Masks. But you know what? There's so much happening, as usual. And I had a rant today. I don't know if you watch our other show, The Real Discussion with RockLogic, Gary D, ESP, and Robin, where we have rant periods where we kind of just let it flow. And I had a rant today. So we're going to make this a multi-level show. We're going to talk about the masks because it's very important, because we're back into the out. We've all started coming outside, and there's traffic again, and there are people on the streets, and it's scary as shit. Because there are people walking in groups, and nobody has masks on, and everything is okay, and like nothing happened. And I'm more than a little nervous and more than a little concerned. So I have a specialist here who we all actually know very well. RockLogic is going to be sitting in with me this afternoon because he specializes in respiratory therapies and teaching and CPR, and he's a paramedic, and cardiac issues are his game. So we're going to be talking about that on a professional level and giving you some information that you need to know, that we feel that you need to know. And also on top of that, because again, that was the show, we're going to be talking about a couple of things, because I got hit with something before we went on the air, and it was part of what made us be late. I saw something from a guy that used to be on Saturday Night Live named Jay Farrow. I'm sure you're all familiar with him. If you're not, just Google Jay Farrow, because we have yet another brother with a knee on the neck, but we're gonna get into that. Then there's another shooting happening that we'll also, so we're gonna be all over the place, so that's fair warning. But in the fair warning, I want you to get on the phone today. Today is your show. I want the phones to ring. I want you to call in. And what's the number that we're using today, Rocky?
It's
we're using 908. Okay, you got
242.
Mm-hmm.
6234.
34. So you guys call us. And before we go any further, I want to say thank you to last week's guest, because you know what? I have to pay the bills, so we got to do the regular stuff first. So let me go down with our sponsors. But I really want to say thank you so much to Maureen Anderson and to Kareem Baylor. You guys had a great show. You had 2,000 hits from that show, 2,420 hits from that show to be exact. So we had a great show, and you were fabulous, and people called in and talked about us, so you should be getting responses and hits because your information is up on the site. And I want to shout out our benefactors, Breathe CPR at 892 Wyckoff Avenue. Their number is 718-497-3277. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you work in a medical office, you get priority issue. They do babysitters, they do nannies, they teach Heart Saver, standard CPR, ACLS, BLS, And PALS, we also do EKG and what else? What did I forget? I forgot something, didn't I?
Mock codes.
Yeah, it's mock codes, all of those things. Give us a call, because you know what? If you know any of the letters that I just gave you and what they do, you know we fully service you. So give us a buzz. Once again, that number is 718-497-3277, and that's on our website. We'd also like to let you know about Cartier Designs at City Phases. They are our promotional specialists. They take care of all of our t-shirts and all of our masks and all of the other things that we use for promotion. So you can take a look at them at our website as well, or you can go to City Phases. And our mother company, which is Boardwalk Global Media.
Yeah.
And and you can book time with them or call them with ideas, or if you'd like to do videos or commercials. We also do that there at 908-242-6234. You can also book your studio time if you want to have a podcast. We'd like to say a special shout to Bakery on Bergen, which is our dear friend Akeem Van. Her number is 917-519-6549. She's located at 740 Bergen Street, has the most fabulous pastries that you ever want to taste, so give her a call. And of course, our captain at La Mose Creations.
You can't give that kind of intro without a hand clap.
Of course. No, she deserves a hand clap. She's at 202-413-0013, and she's just got fabulous designs up the yin yang. Go to her website. She's on her Facebook page. Actually, I know it's La Mose on Facebook, La Mose Creations on Facebook. She does a wide variety of things. Her specialty is crochet. She does these lovely dolls. Listen, the list goes on and on and on. And some of her things are on our Facebook. Her new nurses series is on our Facebook. Take a look at that. And of course, shout out to the Universal Hip Hop Museum and Universal Hip Hop Radio. That's our boys Cutman, LG, and Rocky Bucano. I don't know why you do that to me. Every time you start up that jam, we have to start moving. Okay, they're at 65 East 140 9th Street in the Bronx. They're 347-454-2793, and they're not open yet, but when they are open, you need to get up there. It's really an experience. I mean, you're going to live. If you went to school in the 80s or if you were in hip hop, it's like going back home. It's some of the best times of your life. So do get up there and take a look at it. And of course, our dear Al Pizarro up at Hip Hop Boulevard and all the wonderful things that he's doing. Shout out to you, Al. And I'd also like to say hi to our brother over at the Raw Perspective, which is Uncle Lays. And his show comes on when? Friday?
At 6 o'clock.
Friday at 6 o'clock. And then, of course, my boss, which is The Real Discussion with RockLogic, Gary D, ESP, and Robin, which is on Friday at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday morning, you have Fresh Start Focus at 10 a.m. on WDBR, and that is with TD Lovin'. And some of you have actually gone. I'm so excited about this. We are so excited about this. Some of you have gotten the invitation for the Fresh Start Inner Circle, and that's the health-related group that we've been directing you to, because some of you, we know we have issues. Some of you, it's just for health consultations. She is a nutritionist. She's a dietary specialist. And if you go to the little commercial that we did on my page, you'll see all of the initials and all of the qualifications that she has. I don't have them written down. But her name is Tanya Hazelhurst Dawkins.
You got it right this
and
time.
That's yeah. Sorry, Tanya, I didn't get it right the last time. But she's fabulous, and I hope all of you are getting in on the page and getting to know her. And go to the page, ask questions. She's there to address your needs. If you have any health issues, if you have any questions about foods and everything, it's really a non-judgmental environment. And the only thing that she requests is that you do not make any of those advertisements or anything. So talk to her. It might be good for you. And I always have to say I love you guys, because I don't know how you did this. Listen, I look in the mirror sometimes. I don't want to hear me talk. But you have taken, in 1 month, you have taken this show to 22,000 listeners. I don't even know. I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. And I'm so thankful to each of you for taking the time to listen. And it is much appreciated. And I hope to continue to bring you all of the things that you want to hear, and the subjects that we need to talk about, and the subjects that are dear to us. So I always am open to ideas. So call in and let me know what you want to hear, because you know what? If I'm not saying what you want to hear, now let me be clear. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you the truth. But let's talk about the subjects that you want to engage in. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's roll into what the show was supposed to be. And then we're going to let it flow into what it becomes. And then when you call in and add in your piece, it'll be what it is. All right? We can work with that. So, respiratory specialist, paramedic, emergency medical professional, RockLogic, or should I give your formal name, because, you know, these are formal qualifications. What are you more comfortable with? Because they don't know you like that.
No.
Okay, well, there you go. He is going to talk to us today, and he's very passionate about this, and I'm becoming more passionate about it. The power of the mask. The steps that we need to take in coming back in to the out. Because as I said previously, we've been locked up for a while.
Yeah.
And it was February something where we got the first inkling that something was wrong. And then by March 13th, things started shutting down, and we literally were not even coming out of our front door. And now we're rushing back into things, and I get it. We're tired. We're tied up. We want to be out. We need the air. It's nice outside. It's summertime. We want to have barbecues. We want to do things. So we're going to talk to Rocky. And before he starts talking, you ready to gear up? Before he starts talking, I'm going to let you know that if you're missing this or you can't listen to the whole thing today, we are on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Twitcher, YouTube, Facebook Live. Well, you're here with us there, duh. And Instagram we're still working on, but we're going to get it right soon. And for your future viewing needs, all you have to do is go and type ESP Speaks, and on all of these platforms, our shows and previous episodes will come up. You can follow us, and that's with all of our shows. That's with The Real Discussion as well. You can follow us on Instagram at ESP Real Talk. We're on Twitter as ESP Real Talk. We're on Facebook as ESP Speaks. And we do have a website, www.espspeaks.com. You can email us at esp@espspeaks, or you can email at espspeaks@gmail.com. Did I get everything? And of course, you're on our fan page at ESP Speaks on Facebook. Yeah. So I think we covered all of that. And now I'm going to lay back for a minute, because I want to jump right in with your passionate mask issue.
Conversation.
There you go.
All right, for sure. So check it out, y'all. Here's what I've been seeing. You know, I've been on the streets, and I know that we're tired. I know that. I know we're tired of being inside. I know you want to get out. And I know the government is telling you one thing, you know, I go out and do what you're going to do. But here's what's starting to happen. You guys are getting careless with the mask, guys. Mm-hmm. And I get it, because it's nice to breathe fresh air, and it's June, and it's beautiful. I get that. However, what you have to be prepared for, and you have to understand, is that this corona thing is not over. It's not over by a long shot. if you look at the other cities in in the United States, that do you remember down in Florida, right? They reopened the beaches, and everyone was like, "Yeah, we're going out," and they crowded the beaches. Well, guess what? Now Florida, they're getting their second wave of the coronavirus. Atlanta's getting the second wave of the coronavirus. So all of those cities that opened up early and said, "Hey, we're going to do what we got to do. We're going to get things back to normal." Now they're experiencing a spike of the second round of the coronavirus. So here's the deal. What did we learn from the first time? Well, we understand what it is now. We know exactly what it is. So stop being stupid. And I'm going to say it just like that. Stop being stupid, because I'm going to tell you the truth, because it's stupid. And careless. And taking your mask off and not wearing your mask and not practicing social distancing. Stop that. Because and washing your hands. I'm seeing people using less hand sanitizer now. I'm also seeing that. So now you're back to not washing your hands, which I don't understand that. You should have been washing your hands in the first place.
Are we finding hand sanitizer? Because it's still very difficult to find the hand sanitizers in the store. And you made a hand sanitizer, so you might want to share the recipe with them as well.
Absolutely. I did it with aloe and some alcohol and put it together, aloe vera and alcohol, and it was at least 75% alcohol. And I add the aloe vera to it, and that's just so that your hands don't get dry. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if you got a bottle of alcohol and you put it in a spray bottle, spray your hands. The alcohol is readily available in the pharmacies. I picked up a bottle the other day, just went and grabbed it, and I put a spray top on it, and I spray my hands and all that, and that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's here in the studio,
and
somewhere.
It's usually right here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay,
it's actually right there. So. You know what? And hold on, I'm gonna put the camera on you for a second.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna show
and
it.
grab him.
I'm gonna show
yeah.
it. All right, I'm gonna show it
because we keep it around. This is his handmade one. Well, we just refilled the bottle. Yes. But guys, he's watched that chair on the camera. He's really correct in what he's saying, that this flagrant behavior. I mean, as we were coming into the studio today, I'm getting sprayed. I'm a flower. Did you put it in front of the thing? Here, give me.
Yeah, you put it up.
Okay, this is a regular
old
Walgreens bottle with a little spray thingy attached to it.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
And that's it. But do something. Y'all are not doing. Nobody's wearing gloves anymore. I went into the supermarket yesterday. Hands on the cards.
On the card, yeah.
Nothing. When did we stop?
Oh wait, have you seen the bars?
Okay, see, now we're moving into the red. Now we're in a free flow situation. I want you to call in. The number is on the screen. Call in at any point that you want to. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you just want to yawn out loud and scream because you saw something that ticked you off with this COVID, today's rant day. Just call in and do it. Because the bars,
seen that?
The bars now, they're not serving inside. They're opening the windows and serving it like an ice cream truck. So people are standing out in the street with cups, parking their car, doing, what do you call that thing when you go to a game?
It's like a drive-through or tailgating.
They're tailgating drinks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was on 61st Street and Woodside Avenue last night. I was dropping off a friend.
Yeah.
And there was a bar next to a liquor store, mind you.
That's right.
And all of these people, music blasting. I'm like, where's that coming from? And the window on the bar was open and people were standing on the street. And I'm going,
drinking. What's
happening? They're drinking, they're smoking. And that's another thing I want to talk about. But let me finish with the drinking. They got these red cups like it's a picnic.
That's right.
They're standing right on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
There are people trying to come off the street because if you know 61st and Woodside, that's a major train hub. It's one of the only train stations that has the working escalators and elevators. So it's a very heavy stop. And here are people walking out into the middle of the street to get away from these people standing outside of a bar. And it's a free-for-all. All right. Answer this for me.
Oh, wait. And
Okay,
They're not practicing social distancing.
Oh, no.
And they're not wearing a mask. So they're standing close together, like as if they're inside the bar anyway.
Yeah.
With no mask, smoking, and they're less than 6 feet apart.
So quite frankly, the only person who's protected is the bartender that's kind of not serving but is serving drinks. Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So I have a question for all smokers. What's the number again? 908-242-6234. For all of you smokers.
Yeah, get them.
You ain't got to blow yourself up when you call in. I don't need to know your name. I don't need to know all of that. But how do you smoke with a mask? I'm for real. Oh, because smokers, I'm a former smoker. We have trouble breathing anyway.
Yeah.
We're always coughing. You wake up with that morning, or they call it the hack. How do you walk down it's hard enough to breathe just when you can breathe with this thing on, and you're walking down the street and I see this and people are smoking. What's the point? I'm lost. Somebody please listen.
Where's the protection?
I'm not trying to, I just want to know. All right. I am earnestly asking for information as a smoker. Listen, I have a partner that smokes cigars, but he gets the cigar. He goes out into, this is a big production. He goes into a middle of a field, or he'll go to a park bench. He'll look around to make sure that nobody's around, and then he'll spark up. And if, God forbid, if I'm there, I got to talk to him from 20 feet away because I don't like the smell of the cigar. But I have to talk to him from 20 feet away. So at least there's a mindset to that.
Yeah. So
as a smoker, how are you handling this? And do you have any fears with regard to it? I'm going to throw this back to you because you know what? I can feel my rant starting, and I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there yet.
Okay. All right.
All right. You go ahead. You run with it.
So I'm just saying to you guys.
Run, Forrest,
that
run.
You guys, you really got to, protect yourself, or you're going to start this thing all over again in New York City. And trust me, that second wave is not going to be like the first wave, because unemployment's going to run out for a lot of people. There's not going to be any financial resources for you, and we're going to be in real trouble. You understand what I'm saying? Because then we'll be going into the holiday season. Ain't nobody going to have no money for no turkey, Christmas gifts. And I'm going to tell you something. Once society gets to that point, that's when you're going to see a lot of desperate people, because Christmas brings out desperate people. The holidays bring out
go ahead.
desperate people. So I'm telling you now, if you don't want to see the true wrath of what this thing can really be, you really need to practice the social distancing. Another thing I want to say about the mask, all right? Because some of y'all OD with the mask. You keep the mask on in the car and you by yourself. Okay, what kind of retarded stuff is that, all right? I promised ESP I wasn't going to curse on the show. What kind of retarded stuff is
cursing.
that? I'm not. But what kind of retarded stuff is that? Okay, you're in the car by yourself and you got the mask on. Now, let me tell you something. If you continue to wear the mask all the time, you exhale CO2. That's what you do. You're building up CO2 in your bloodstream because it's not all being expelled because you're wearing the mask. Here's what's going to happen to you, especially in the summertime. I'm just saying this. People are going to be passing out.
They are, yes.
And they have been passing out because there's been reports.
There's several car accidents.
Because the person,
The person passed out. All right,
dumb butt. All right, dumb butt.
I'll let a couple of split.
I'll do dumb butt.
I'll let a couple.
I'll do dumb butt.
It's okay.
Dumb butt. Right? That actually sounds funny. Dumb butt. Dumb butt wore the mask the whole time in the car. CO2 built up. And it's the same effect as if there's carbon dioxide released in your house. You're going to pass out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the dude passed out.
You have a whole gauge to make sure it's not in the house, okay?
Right. But it ain't on your mask. We need, you know what? Ding, idea. I'm going to invent
here we go.
The CO2 gauge on the outside of the mask, and when it builds up, you know when to take the mask off. I'm just saying, it's a brilliant idea. It sounds kooky, but so did the iPhone originally. It was a kooky idea.
No, I think it's a great idea, but if we could get them to put... Here's the thing. The people who don't need to have them on, have them on.
Right.
They have them on to the point where they're making themselves pass out. Mm-hmm. And then the people who need to put them on are not putting them on. All right, parents.
Tell them.
What's up with your kids?
Oh, my God.
Okay, I don't know if you're not giving them masks or you are giving them masks and they're taking them off. Let me tell you, my last child, he won't go down the steps in the house without a mask on because he's so freaked out with this whole thing. And let's not even add that Kawasaki stuff that's happening to the kids into the mixture. But okay, why are there so many teenagers and young adults outside without any protection on? This is befuddling to me. And their parents are standing 2 feet away from them with masks on. Somebody please call in and explain.
What's
Back
up with
to
that?
you.
Back to me. Boom. Okay. It's like a tag team right now. Back to you. So
Playing tennis.
What I like to speak about real quick, because I want to acknowledge somebody that passed away, that because of all the attention of everything else that's going on in the world, we missed this. And Curly Neal from the Harlem Globetrotters passed away actually on Wednesday.
Wasn't that last week?
Yeah, it was on Wednesday.
What's today?
Week.
Today's
Saturday.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah,
because
you know what I'm saying? Like, we missed that.
It's like, listen, this whole thing. Okay, the rant has started. I feel it. I feel it.
Come on,
because I am on the internet. I'm on social media with a lot of you. I love you. A lot of my followers are on social media. We're on the same page, and we don't call the name of who. We just put this little clown face. What the hell? All of this stuff started simply because he would not recognize that it was an actual virus. So we la. Nobody's taking it seriously. There's a whole section of the public that are in support of the clown that still
where are the clowns?
Still don't take it seriously. Hell, on Memorial Day, they had a whole barbecue that took up damn nearly a whole state. And we're wondering why we're in a wave now. Do you realize that Florida's death rate went up to 200 and something in most hospitals yesterday? The people who were not wearing masks from the onset are now feeling, we're calling it a second wave, but it's a first hit for them. We here got it. We got it because of where our airports were situated between New York and Chicago. We got a heavy weight of flux into the country through our airports, and we're dealing with it. And if you guys do not buck up and do what the hell you're supposed to do in terms of washing your hands, this is simple. I'm talking to adults about washing their hands and putting on protection for yourselves and your loved ones, we're going to end up living this stuff all over again. Now, you 6 months we were locked down. 4 months we were locked down?
4 months.
4 months we were locked down. We're still not up. The economy that he sent $1,000 checks to people, I don't know how that helped, but okay, I'll give it to them because some people got nothing. Some people are still waiting. You're going back out there to no job. Most of the jobs that you left have realized that they can operate through the internet. So there really aren't any jobs to go back to, except for the restaurants and the bars and the hotels. These are the people where we're getting the most complaint from, the restaurant owners. Okay, I get it. But you want to open your restaurant to who? Ain't nobody got no money. Number one. Number two, you can't go outside if you're not dressed and social distanced and you're not covered up properly. They have signs in every shop that say you cannot come in here without a mask, yet people are still walking around without a mask. I'm Lord, help me before I go into.
Here's the question. How do you eat pizza with a mask on? I'm just
that's me at the beginning of a rant. I'm sorry for yelling at y'all, but y'all need to wake up.
Come on, yeah.
And on top of all of that, they still stepping on our neck. Because have y'all seen this video with Jay Farrow from Saturday Night Live? Yes, Floyd was buried. Yes, Floyd is our. I gotta take a breath on this because I am really, really shaken. The only thing that has changed in this country is that we are filming this now. Y'all know that this has been happening to us for years. We're getting the public notice now because people are walking around with automatic film. But let's go back to Jay Farrow, because the week before our precious Floyd was taken out of the game, there was another brother who was told to spread eagle on the floor in Los Angeles, no warning, no nothing, with 5 cops converging on him. Go to YouTube and type Jay Farrow. You saw him on Saturday Night Live. 5 cops, guns drawn. He's asking questions, and they're not telling him anything. And he says, look in my back pocket and take out my ID. After he's in handcuffs, face on the ground, knee on the neck. Why the hell you gotta put your knee on your neck? You got 5 guns shooting, looking at him. 5 guns, 5 men. He's laying flat on the floor, and the help me. The thing that they tell him, the excuse that they give him is, well, you fit the description of a black man wearing gray.
Same damn thing.
You fit the description of a black man wearing gray. I left my house today, and I left my son, the baby, in gray shorts, gray shirt. He's a black man. What description does he fit? Mm-hmm. Mamas, call me. Black women who have raised black sons, call me. Because this is your show. I want you to be able to rant. I want you to be able to talk. Those of you who haven't been able to go out and protest, those of you who are walking around your living room screaming because you're watching these protests, and even that, y'all ain't got masks on out there, but I'm going to give you that one. Because at least you're going to die for a reason if you catch something. Because we've been dying for years. This is ridiculous, and it's about time. Somebody said, a sister said, that played after I watched that video of Jay Farrow, because when of course they looked up his ID and saw who he was and called into the office after having him on the phone on the floor for 22 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. What? Mm-hmm. Okay. But after the video started to run, because there's a series of videos that run behind that. One of the girls was talking about her sons and how we're scared. You're allowed to say that you're scared. I have black male children. I'm allowed to be scared without being called an angry black woman. Y'all are taking our boys out. You're taking our men out. You're taking our sons out. Come on. We are allowed to be mad, and they wonder why we rioting? First of all, okay, now I'm on something else. You got to step in here, because I can keep this going and going. Please call in. Y'all call in and tell us what you need to say.
I think I'm just going to make you mad, because sit off the hook, you just text, and now was the thing I got earlier, that they just killed a black man in Wendy's parking lot in Atlanta. They just fired the cop who took the 3 shots. They just fired the cop. He got to go to jail too, by the way. But let me tell you something that's really crazy. You want to really get on a rant? Your man Mitch O'Connell, right? The dude, right? It's got the fat around his neck, right? Oh, okay. This dude says on TV that reparations is not a good idea. He said that the civil rights laws that were passed and the fact that this country elected a black president is enough reparations. Go.
Oh, boy.
Now, I mean, what kind of clown stuff is this?
First of all, reparations, they couldn't begin to pay us the reparations that they owe us, number one. Number two, the young lady that I was referring to after the video ran of him on the ground and the police eventually letting him go, and it wasn't somebody filming it, It was only because of his stature as an actor and a studio that stood behind him that he was able to get the video off of the street feed, because the studio, I guess, went and got it for him. There was a young woman who started talking about, how do we hit them? How do we react? I'm going to tell you how you react, because marching is wonderful. Protesting is wonderful. I'm loving the fact that young people and all of these other people that are otherwise black and brown, other than black and brown, are protesting with us. I think that's great. But you got to hit these people where they live. They understand money. Now, here's what you need to understand. About a year ago, what was it, Gucci let something go with a black face and a monkey, and everybody wanted to protest.
It was a design.
And then there was another place that very often we use. I don't remember what it was, but there was another place that we were all buying, and was it Louis Vuitton, or somebody call in and correct me, because I want to give the right information, because like I said, I'm on a rant. When you're on a rant, you just keep going, and I want you guys to have the right information. But here's the idea. You get the idea. You keep buying from them. How are you hurting them if you keep buying from them? If you use your money in their stores and continue to buy their merchandise, you are in support of them, whether you want to be or not. I take not. Your dollars are important to your community. Why aren't we supporting more black and brown businesses? Okay, look them up. I'll get you a list of black and brown businesses. And if you can't find something, make one. Start your own business. This is what we should be doing to enhance ourselves. We're all stuck on this wheel that keeps going round and round and round and round and round, and we're running and we're not getting anywhere because we're not stopping to develop our own resources.
Right.
So, ladies, and we did a show last night, and this became a point of contention because I wasn't able to get the whole point out because we were having fun. It was a great show, but I want to make this clear. As a black woman with locks and who has chosen to have her hair in a natural state, I am going to speak to you in the most loving way that I can possibly speak to you. We live in a society that predestines that we are supposed to look a certain way in order to get a certain reaction. I get that. Do you? If you want to have long, straight Indian hair, you want to have wavy, curly hair, that's up to you. Whatever makes you feel good and whatever makes you feel special or makes you feel like a woman, wonderful. But I'm going to tell you what I have to say. Each one of you are beautiful in your natural state. Each one of you have a God-given beautiful structure to you that you can express in your own right. Why are y'all spending $30 billion a year to buy hair that don't belong to you, that your man can't even run his fingers through because you don't want it to be touched? You're spending countless dollars in hair salons, not taking anything away from the hairdressers. But again, I'm trying to appreciate the fact that it makes you feel good. You do what you want to do. It's your choice. But I'm also coming from a different angle of, if you're feeding a $30 billion a year industry that's paying something outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood, outside of bringing up your society, you're wrong. You need to think about that. Because you're beautiful. Some of you are beyond gorgeous when you're in your natural state. And you should really, really consider coming back home to the not to mention the chemicals in themselves eat through your skin. They do damage to your body. They do damage to your spirit. Okay, I'm going to back off of y'all. Because I love my brothers. I love my black men. I love all people. But there are certain things, and this is a personal choice. Call me, and even if you want to argue with me, even if you just have a conversation about it, because you see this, I used to spend dollars on my girls, my children, going to the nail salon. You got to have the hair. I'll go and do my feet. I'll give it a good scrub and everything. That's fine, a little nail polish. But all of them nail extensions and $35, $45, and I had to have all of the colors and all of that. You get to a point in your life where you realize God gave you something. Use it. I don't have, that's a personal, yes, it's a personal choice, but I'm not paying somebody for this anymore because it's hurting me. The chemicals were seeping into my skin. I was breaking out in allergies. That's just me, because I can hear somebody saying, well, that's all about you. I'm going to do what I want to do. Yes, that's not the point. I'm not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. This is not an argument as to you should be doing or you shouldn't be doing. I'm trying to raise your level of consciousness, because if you're doing something that is hurting your body, is hurting your spirit, is hurting the chemical balance of it. Listen, I have 2 daughters who look at me and tell them, no, this hurts, and I feel so mucusy, and I have this, and I have that, and my skin and my face. Drink some water, use some soap, stop eating all of that crap that you're eating. I caught myself. I said I wasn't going to curse today. Stop eating all of that crap that you're eating. You're disposable. You stop for all of this fast food. Look, this COVID, keeping your ass at home was the best thing, because they had to eat fresh fruits, they had to eat fresh vegetables. All of that sugary stuff wasn't as accessible to them. I was cooking broccoli and cauliflower, and you had to eat it because you couldn't go outside and get what you wanted. So now you were subject to my stuff.
You know what's interesting? Maureen just put something in the chat room, and I have to read this, because she said, yes, I was told when I worked at my corporate position that I had to wear my hair in a bun because it wouldn't be accepted with my hair out. It was called wild. It was a horrible experience. And Maureen, you need to call in, girl.
Maureen, pick up the phone and call in and tell us about that. Come on, call in. Yeah. And I know what she's talking about, but guess what? In certain states, there are laws about that. If I walk in and they hire me and my hair is locked, or I have it up in a bun and I let it out, they're not allowed to tell me to cut it. They're not allowed to tell me what to do with it. And if they hired you with that same hair, you have a case. But I want Maureen to call in and talk about that with us. Listen, there are states that have laws on the books with regard to natural hair.
I'm going to tell you about that hair thing, which is interesting, because this thing also happens to men. It happens to men that have dreadlocks. So there's a CPR instructor. He's also a paramedic, and he was teaching at this particular hospital upstate. And he has dreads. I mean, they're dreads. It's ridiculous. And the women in the class, so this is almost like a Central Park Karen vibe, really. The women in the class called the company and said that they felt threatened.
By his hair was going to jump off them.
And he's a big guy. He's like 6'1", 6'2", and a teddy bear. He's a teddy bear, respectable. And they said that the guy with the dreads looked threatening. He was teaching a CPR class. How threatening can he be? You understand what I'm saying?
And if he was threatening, he could resuscitate you.
You understand what I'm saying?
What
come
nonsense
on.
is that?
Listen, it just pervades through society. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to show you that it was a man thing. It happens, once you go corporate, and the problem with that is with them being corporate, hold on for 1 second. With them being corporate, here's the issue. they don't accept our blackness. You know what I'm saying? And that's an issue. Hold on for 1 second. I'm gonna flip the camera back to you. Hold on for 1 second.
Well, with regard to corporate,
Hello?
Susan B. Taylor, the chief editor of Essence magazine, she's had cornrows and all and such for years. So I'm not fully prescribed to that, but okay. But let me come back to the dread that you're talking about, the term that you use. People who have locks, like myself, and this is for clarity, we do not like the term dreadlocks. We do not have dreadlocks. There are dreadlocks, and there are locks, and there are cultured locks. This is a little education for you all. What am I getting in my ear?
Maureen.
You have Maureen on the line?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back to the locks. Maureen?
Did you get her?
No, I didn't get her.
Yeah.
You got her?
Ah, hey.
Hello?
How are
Hey.
you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Very good show.
Talk to us, Maureen.
Yeah. Well, I'm just listening to you took me back to, I mean, it was years ago, but it doesn't matter. It was still something that happened to me. You know, I worked as a bank teller and was up for a promotion, which would be back office. And my manager at the time, you know, when I got the position, I said I was going to take it. He pulled me aside into his office and he was like, I just want to tell you something. Because I would wear my hair out when I was at the window and they never said anything about it. He was like, I want you to know that when you go to this back office position, I suggest you wear your hair up. Tie it tight. Don't let them see it because they're not going to accept it. And I didn't, I was just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, I figured, you know, a bun, maybe he meant it was more professional. So, you know, I would wear it and then I got a jolt of what he meant the first time I wore my hair out. And now this is back office. I wasn't facing really any customers. Mm-hmm. You know, these were people that I worked with on a day-to-day basis and had my hair out. And they were like, oh, my goodness, you're wearing your hair. I didn't know you had that much hair. Or you're wearing the wild style today. You want to go wild. And it was very negative. And it was even the tone that came at me, which was just so disturbing. And I'm like, my hair is beautiful. My mother raised me to believe my hair was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that reaction was just, it stayed with me to this day.
Well,
you know, and they didn't have those laws back then.
I've seen your hair. I know your hair. Your hair is gorgeous. Still to this day, gorgeous. But I'm going to say something to the audience. Stay on the line. We're not leaving you.
Okay.
Because you said something a little wild. Okay. After slavery, particularly towards Louisiana, there were laws when we came out of slavery in America. There were laws put on the books for free black women that it was demanded that they put head ties on and scarves on. That's why whenever you see like cartoons or whenever you see any depictions of Louisiana in movies, the women have their hair tied. Because here's why. When we came out of slavery, we weren't allowed to, you know what I mean when I say cornrow our hair. Now, cornrows, back in the motherland, they would make these ornate beautiful designs, and they would make them in crowns, and you know what I'm talking about, Maureen. You see, we used to go to school, and you do your cornrows, and then you had your sister girl who made them into these beautiful designs, and you looked like you were walking around with a crown on your head. So when we came out of slavery and we were free again, and we started braiding our hair and doing what we could do because we were free to do so, the white women got mad. And they would tell their husbands. So the husbands had the law. Look it up. It's there, y'all. I'm talking to the whole audience. They had these laws put on the book because it was offensive that a black woman was walking down the street and people were looking at her. Because they didn't want to say, your hair is beautiful. Oh, my God, that's so gorgeous. It's a work of art. They couldn't say that because you were a freed slave. So they said, put a rag on your head. Tie it up. Then as history progressed in this country, as you know, the depiction of what beauty was supposed to be was straight pressed out hair. So we all had to fall into that mode, and which is why I said I get it for the sisters who are still in that mode, because sometimes you got to do things to get in, to fit in, and a lot of sisters have had the same situation that you had with that beautiful natural hair that you have. But let's talk about the wild now. Because he was warning you on several levels. It just wasn't, oh my God, you have so much hair, it's going to be looked at as funny. They attach the wild, whenever you hear somebody tell you about you as a black woman or you as a woman of color being wild, that's a sexual connotation. So he may have actually, in his weird, jacked up way, been saying, girl, you got to tone that down because they're going to come at you. The women are going to hate on you, so you're going to have problems. And you're in a bank, you know the women are the ones who carry the weight in the bank in terms of the doing. It's the men who control the bank. So somebody might be hating on you as a woman, and somebody might be trying to put their hand up your skirt as a man. So he might have been giving you his weird warning. But just ladies, whenever they talk about that wild, whenever they want to put that on you, it's because just like they wanted to break our men as bucks, that's how they name us. They want to break us. Because, you know, they're always willing to touch us. They don't walk up to white women and be massaging them on the shoulders. And this is what they do to us. Because I was in corporate America 20 years ago. And I constantly, no matter what level I was in, I worked for a huge corporation in the hotel industry, and it didn't matter. At one point, I was a GM, but when the owner walked in, every time the eyes went straight here. And then when he would come up behind me and, well, you know, this is my girl, nigga.
He was looking at your heart, ESP.
He was not looking at my heart, because my heart was not a double D.
Come on. No, she's right.
So be careful. Y'all be careful of that wild. That's that. Girl, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
And I appreciate you so much. Maureen Anderson was on the show last week. She did such a beautiful reading. Maureen, you know that show got over 2,000 views because of your gorgeousness.
Wow, that's fantastic. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Yes.
And her book is November Rain. It's at Book Baby right now. And if you put in ESP as the summer discount code, they're going to give you a percentage off. Maureen, how long do they have on that?
They have, is 1 week left. It expires June 20th, next Saturday.
Okay, so y'all better go get November Rain. It's a great book. I read it. It's wonderful. It's heartwarming. It's full of, it inspires you to feel that high school or lost love and rekindling. And it's a wonderful book. Go get it.
Maureen,
Anderson,
I want
November
to
Rain.
ask you, Maureen, Does it come as an audiobook
Yes.
also?
Yes, Maureen,
No,
you have to do an
not
audiobook.
yet. I have been, yes. The request is out there. My goodness.
Yeah.
Girl, wait.
I
No,
have
no,
been
no.
looking. If someone knows, contact me. Let me know.
I gotta
You want to
tell
work with
you.
me on an audiobook? Yes.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Rocky,
Yeah.
Boardwalk Global Media. We have controlling interest in that. Let's bring Maureen into the studio and do the audiobook.
We can do that. You know what? Yeah, you know what, Maureen?
Yes.
Let's make an audiobook.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. You guys are wonderful. Wow. Wow. I never
You know how many requests I got for that
I
audiobook?
mean, because people, we do audiobooks. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good
Wow.
idea. We come in and you read. It's going to take a couple of days to get through it all, and then we'll just kind of edit it
Yes.
together, and we'll edit it as we go, and then we'll just create an audiobook. I think
Wow,
that would
I'm
be
gonna
dope.
cry, my
Amazing. Yeah,
baby.
listen, you gotta stop. Don't do that to me. This
so
is a
wonderful.
blessing. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
sweetie. We appreciate you. We
Thank
love you. Okay, love to
Love
Richard.
you too. Thank you. I'll tell him. Thank you.
All right.
All right, see you soon,
All right.
Maureen.
Bye-bye. Okay, Rock. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah.
Wow. See, my rant went to something else. I told you we were going to be all over the place today. Don't let Leo call in. We'll be a mess.
Wow. Yo, my God. Well, yeah, Leo, you ain't on the line today? We need old Leo. I love Leo.
I have to stop here and my co-host today, Leslie, we love you. We miss you. She's not feeling well.
Yeah.
I spoke to her this morning. She could barely talk. It's not COVID. She was tested. She did all of the stuff. So thank goodness for that. But she's just not feeling up to snuff. We miss you. You're leaving a hole in our heart. And I don't know what it is with the co-host on that side of the world today, but my other co-host, he's not sick. Boots on the ground, Andy Soto. He's not, it's not that he's not feeling well. He just had such a full docket. When I spoke to both of them this morning, I didn't realize that he had several musical groups that he has to take care of and just a lot going on. So we miss you. We love you. We care about you. We can't wait to have you back on. What? I don't get no drum rolls. No
Sorry.
nothing. Yeah, that's Rock messing up. Okay.
No, you don't need that.
Give me
we need
something.
this. We need that right there, baby.
Listen, it befuddles me how we put you on a mic today, and you still find a way to yell like you're not on the mic. Explain that, please.
It's an art, baby. It's an
Okay,
art.
yeah,
It's
I
an
guess
art.
so.
That's how I do my thing.
I guess so.
That's how I do my thing.
So what's next here?
Well, let's see. We got into the Mitch McConnell thing, and once again, Curly passed away, and we talked about that. So let's talk about what's good in the United States now. What's good? I mean, what is working on the ship right now? Is there anything good happening in the United States right now? I'm kind of curious. I mean, I'm looking for good in something.
Well, we're here.
Okay, all right. Because Clown Man has got us totally distracted. Where are all the clowns in the White House? There's ought to be clowns. Like, what's up? I mean, what is good, really?
I heard.
I want to hear something good.
I read something.
Graduations.
Okay, you gonna let me get it out?
I'm sorry.
I read something the other day with regard to Barack Obama becoming a Chief Justice. Did you read about
No,
that?
I didn't see that. No.
Somebody Google that for me, please, because I can't remember all the details of the article, but I thought that was fabulous. Joe Biden is definitely the confirmed candidate for the Democratic ticket. So what are your feelings on that? And, I know what I want to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very, 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 very important. I don't know if the camera can that camera pick this up? Here, you hold it closer over there.
Closer. Hold on for 1 second. Let me make sure we
Because
have
the
this up.
census, let's talk about, we did a show last night and the subject of census came up. And a lot of people, okay, you're hold it down a little further. We're going to put this information up on our website with regard to the census. So now, call in and tell us where the subject now is census. The census is really, really important, and people, once again, are not taking it seriously. Now, let me explain something to you. When we talk about census, we're talking about dollars for your community. We're talking about programs for your schools, programs for your children. How about this? We have an election coming up. Let me show you census on the most basic of levels. One of the things that's being complained about right now with regard to the elections is there's never enough polling. People are standing outside for 11 hours. And it's not just them trying to slow things down with regard to our voting. Yes, that's part of it, but it's not all of it. People complaining that there are not enough polling areas. There are not enough areas within the polling, what do you call the podiums to vote? They're not enough within the establishment that you're going to, and there are not enough establishments to vote. Do you understand that that is directly connected to your census? Because when they take the census, they count the people in the area. If you're not a part of that count, they're not counting you in as the collective. And it's not just you. Here's the thing. People think that, I ain't going to take it. Well, imagine if 45 people in one area, 1 mile radius, and it's actually more than that. If 250 people in a 10-mile radius say that they're not taking the census, they're not going to be a part of that count. So the things that are needed for your community, thus the voting booths, they're not going to know that they're needed because you weren't a part of the count. These things are so important. It's about books, whether the books are appropriate or not for our learning, that's a whole nother thing, but it's about books. They count your status in terms of
population,
Hispanic, Black. Why? It's not that they are trying to isolate y'all and send INS for y'all or whatever. That's not what they're doing. They're trying to find out how many Spanish books they need for this school district. If they don't know where you are, they can't send it to you. And let me say something, the Black community, I know I'm Black.
Here we go.
The Black community, y'all are the #1 people who do not fill this thing out. I don't want nobody in my business. And they're not asking you questions like that. First of all, they don't keep that type of information. All your personal information, when they do ask for it, because they don't ask for personal information, they want to count. Yes, they want to know how many people are in your house, but that's only because they want to service that area. If they are going to give supplemental funding to the bus routes in your neighborhood, they have to know how many people are getting on the bus. You have to be a part of the count in order to get the funding that's needed. Listen, exactly. I can feel some of y'all in your head. Why is she yelling? Why is she going on? Turn it off. If you don't want to hear what I'm having to say to you today, then change the channel, because that's a choice. And my choice is to stand up for my community and let you know. Because you have people on the other side of the fence, just the same people. They're usually the same people who say, I don't vote because it doesn't make a difference. Damn it, look at the difference that you didn't make when you put the clown in that office space.
Yeah.
Get up and vote.
And there's one thing I want to add to that.
Yo, I'm really,
I'm
sorry.
I see you upset about it.
I am.
And I want to add to that by saying, we complain in our community that that we don't have enough money in the community. We're not getting enough funding in the community. Well, the reason why we don't get enough funding in the community is because they don't know we're there. You know what I'm saying? It's not because they're holding the money back, right? You want to complain about the quality of the computers in your school, right? You want to say, oh, you know what? Our kids aren't getting the proper equipment. They're not getting the proper, because guess what? I'm going to give you a fictitious number. if in Brooklyn 10,000 people signed up for the census, then guess what? They're going to service you with funding for 10,000 people. They're going to fund your schools for 10,000 people.
But there were 60,000 of you living in there, and half of y'all didn't listen.
And you didn't fill it out. So I'm just saying, because we had Sandrea Coleman on, and she works in the census. You know, she does the census. She came on and explained it. And then we had Carlos Leon on yesterday, who is actually a census taker. And here's the deal. It's just easy. It's just easy, y'all. You can go to the website. Mm-hmm. You can call. Mm-hmm. And they actually will come to your house, knock on your door, and do it. That's right. There's no reason for you not to do this. They can't deport you. They can't arrest you. They don't use the information like that. That's not how they use information. I always told you I was going to tell you the truth. This is the truth. They're not going to use the information against you. That's not how it works.
And here, you think it's every 10 years. It's not every 10 years. This information is constantly being recycled through the neighborhoods. From street lights to community service.
To potholes in the road.
To potholes. To security, the crossing guards. The census is about the count. It's not just every 10 years. The figures are used every month as a collective, and the figures change because the census takers don't just come out every 10 years. They come out on a regular basis to update different parts of the census that are used for federal funding, that are used for city funding. So be a part of the count. You're seeing something that I'm not seeing.
I'd like to double dutch in here.
Okay.
Hey. Because hey, I'm in. Double dutch. I just wanted to give you I just wanted to double dutch in here for 1 second. Because there are these people that say things like, I don't want the government to know about me, and da-na-na-na-na. And well, hold on, fool. You're on Facebook all the time. The government knows about you. You're on your phone all the time. The government knows about you. You know, so where's your logic? Do you think that they don't know where you are? Do you think that they don't know where your phone is? You drive through Easy Pass all the time.
Check it out.
They know where you are.
You use Google. Do you understand that Gmail, let's hear it, Gmail was a government service before it became a part of Google. You have Gmail. They're looking at, I have to be careful, they're looking at your stuff either way. So why not get something for it? Listen, I just moved out of a neighborhood that predominantly was black all the way through the 70s, the 80s, and neighborhoods normally change every 30 years.
Big shout out to Darwin.
A neighborhood flits. Who?
I just want to give a big shout out to Darwin.
Hi, Darwin.
Yeah, he's in the house right there. I see him. And William Soto's in the house. I see you. We've been texting back and forth.
Okay. Hey, thank you guys for listening. Okay, and call in so we can really say shout out to you.
The room. Yeah, we're live.
But I just came out of a neighborhood that was typically a black neighborhood. I mean, we had affluent black people. Sidney Poitier lived in a neighborhood at one time. Louis Armstrong lived in the neighborhood. Willie Mays lived in the neighborhood. It was an upwardly mobile black neighborhood. Now, I know I'm going to get heat for this, but I don't care because that neighborhood flipped based on the fact that people were not taking the census and people were not engaging with their community leaders in order to get the funding that was allocated for each of the racial groups. So when you don't, and let's go to that, when you don't take advantage of something that is put in place for an ethnic group, the city leader is allowed to move it to another ethnic group. So now I'm going to really break it down. The black people who didn't take advantage of the programs that were there because you didn't want to get out and do and you wanted, and you was busy looking like the Joneses or trying to keep up to the Joneses next door. I don't want to sign up for that and I don't want to become a part of that. The Hispanics that live across the street that you're so mad at, the Indians that are down the block that you're so angry at that they own the 7-Eleven up on Astoria Boulevard, guess how they got it? Because they went and got the funding for the Small Business Association that you didn't want to get up off of your behind to go and get. I'm speaking the truth. And now the neighborhood has fully flipped away from black, and you're upset. But you wasn't coming together as a coalition in order to keep what was there. Here's the problem with black people. I'm really running on. Y'all want to talk about what other folks do? I'm a black owner. I've hired black staff. My black staffs are the ones who will screw me up before my other ethnic staffs will, because they always looking for me to do so. Yo, sister, all I know is I asked you to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's 7:30 and you keep doing this, and you don't understand why people call it CP time, but now I have to fire you. I came to look for you to step up, bring up, lift up, have you come up with me, teach you what I know. And now I spend more time maintaining you, but I got somebody else who's trying to dazzle me that wants to take the position that I'm trying to show them that they can have. My mama used to say black people too funny, culiar. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the thing now. You're not taking advantage of your opportunities.
That's right.
We're not working together. Black people can't work together. You keep saying that, but none of y'all are working together. I work with several black people that are on my level, and we see things eye to eye, and we talk things out, and we make a plan, and we work at that plan, and then we work the plan, and we come up and have what we have. That's why I'm sitting here looking at you. Because I executed that. He executed that. We executed that. And we will build our empire. You want to get on board? I keep giving you the number. Okay. You want to sit and complain, or do you want to get on board? Do you want to start taking advantage and stop begging these people for what they have for us?
That's right.
And start commanding what we have? You got to start small and start thinking upward. Start thinking bigger. I'm going to keep it basic. You get a paycheck. The first thing that you do when you get a paycheck is you go to the Chinaman down at the corner because you want something to eat. The black dollar stays in its neighborhood for 26 hours. You have a pair of shoes that you want to buy because you got your paycheck, you go buy your Nikes. You get online and you order. You go and buy food. You go and buy liquor. You go hang out. You go to the movies. That was in pre-COVID time. Do you know how long a dollar stays in a Jewish neighborhood? One single dollar that stays with us for 26 hours. One single dollar will float in a Jewish neighborhood for upwards of 3 months.
I'd like to double dutch in on this.
They don't buy from nobody else. And if they move out of their neighborhood to go get something else, you better believe they're going to another Jewish seller. You go ahead and double dutch.
I'm going to double dutch in on this one.
Come on.
Because I'd like to say that, see, here's the myth. And it is a myth because it has to be a myth. There can't be real truth in this. If black neighborhoods are so poor, why do they come and set their stores up in our neighborhood?
Because they know we're going to buy.
Because they know we're going to buy. So here's the deal. It ain't what you make. It's not how much money you make. It's what you do with the money that you make. You know what I'm saying? We support the Chinese restaurants. So the myth of blacks are poor. Well, hold on for a second. The liquor store seems to be thriving. The Chinese restaurant is thriving. The dry cleaner is thriving. The laundromat is thriving. The supermarket is thriving. So we have to change our mind. We have to change our mindset. It's not what you make. If you make $1, the question is, what do you do with the dollar? If you spend $1, then you got to go make another $1. Do you take that $1 and make that $1 work for you? Do you take that $1 and make it grow into something? No, you spend it. Why? Because instant gratification.
Now, please understand, we're not bashing Chinese food stores, okay?
I'm not bashing anybody.
I'm
right.
part Asian, so no.
No, there's no bash.
But you have to hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because you know what? He talks about Chinese food in liquor stores. When was the last time you saw a fruit stand go up in a black neighborhood and we all rush to it? But you go out and you buy the Arizona for $1 that has 36. Get online and check this out. A 16-ounce bottle of soda has 16 packets of sugar, the equivalent of 16 packets of sugar in a bottle of soda. And you want to know why you have diabetes? You want to know why you have high blood pressure?
Diabetes.
Black people, you know what I'm talking about because y'all can't go to sleep without taking that last cup of Pepsi.
Diabetes in a can, y'all.
Before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay? And you will rush out to the same Chinese food store that he's talking about because you got to get the ribs 3 times a week? Son, your mama taught you how to cook?
Didn't she?
Some 90% of y'all that I'm talking to are from the South, and if you're not from the South, the other percentage is from the Caribbean. We were taught how to cook. 14 years old, you couldn't walk out the house unless you could boil a pot of rice. But what are we eating? Y'all are eating chips? You're eating fast food? You're going to Applebee's, and it's nice every once in a while, but y'all are eating out every day, and you wonder why. Now, I'm not talking about people who have medical reasons because I'm not going to be a hypocrite and sit here and say that I don't have things wrong. I do have things wrong, but this is why I'm telling you because I found out through what's wrong with me. You got a chance because we're giving you the information. With black people, we got to start thinking. Brown people, we got to start thinking about what we're doing.
ESP?
Yes, dear.
I'm going to double dutch in again.
Okay,
because I have
go
another
right
question.
on ahead.
Because I already know that. So we're at that 121 mark. And
wow, really?
Yeah. No, we've been going. It went fast. And I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to ask you about. I want to ask you about the. Let me switch the camera. There you go. I want to ask you about the what your thoughts were on the Dave Chappelle special that he just did.
Oh boy!
And it was only 30 minutes. I thought it was powerful, but I want to know what you thought about that.
Well, Dave Chappelle floors me because I've watched. He has matured in front of our eyes. That's number one. And what he said, the whole thing, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it because the whole thing was powerful from beginning to end. And why I love Dave Chappelle is that he's not afraid. He's not afraid to speak the truth, and he's not afraid to take it there, whether you want to hear it or not. And I want you to notice something. When you watch this video, they pan the audience. Look who's in the audience. Mm-hmm. Now, as performers, we can act the fool for the camera, or we can be truthful within ourselves for the camera. Now, he is choosing to be truthful and speak to the people. And when he talks about George, and 8 minutes and 46 seconds, it's very important to him because that's the time that he was born. On the day that he was born, that was the time. And he goes into this incredible breakdown as to what it means and what has been done to us as a society and the responsibility. Okay? My thought process with hold that call. I don't want anybody interrupting this thought. My thought process with regard to Dave Chappelle, bravo, because originally he started to free flow and he was answering one thing when he came on, and it took a different turn. He was answering the fool who called him out and said, well, where are all of these big name stars and what do they have to say? And then he started to address and free flow. I'm not going to say any more about it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was very well done. And if you haven't seen it, please watch it. But there are a couple of things that he said that really, really just took me over the edge. His honesty and dealing with people and people of color and people of non-color. Now, that is causing me to break off into something else, because I want to speak to our non-people of color, whether you want to call them Caucasian, whether you want to call them white people, whatever. I appreciate at this point that you are waking up to listen. I appreciate that you are seeing for yourself. And at this point, you're going, oh my God, that's horrible. I appreciate that. But let me explain something to you. And I'm going to try to be as kind as possible, because I really am earnest in what I'm saying. As much as I want you to know, as much as I want you to feel, I am not responsible for breaking this shit down to you. Because now that you want to hear, every time you want to tap me on the show, and but you know what does it mean to do? I'm going to give you a list of books that will help you in your endeavors of finding this out and figuring this out. Because you need to understand this. We've been fighting this battle. Well, personally, mine is 50 plus years. But the collective of people been fighting this battle for over 450 years. We appreciate your waking up to this right now. But I'm not here to give you a lesson right now. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm too busy trying to wake my own people up to what's happening and how to work with this and how to work past this, because we still singing "We Shall Overcome." When the hell are we gonna overcome?
Broadcaster voice. Wow.
Double dutch your way out of there.
ESP being powerful today. She's being powerful.
I'm mad.
And I hear you. I feel you. And the interesting thing, and I'm going to go back to the Dave thing, because my thoughts on it was, number one, it was very honest. Number two, I mean, nothing he said, if you know, and there was something you said that I liked. We can act a fool in front of the camera, and then we can actually speak our truth. And he does both. You know what I'm saying? And why can't you have that duality? Why can't you be the performer that entertains people and smiles and have a good time, and then after that, when it's time for you to speak your truth, you simply speak your truth of who you are and how you feel? Why is it that as a performer, I have to be afraid that if I speak my mind, I'm going to lose fans because I'm speaking my mind or I'm speaking my truth as a human being, and these are my thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Being a performer is one thing, and speaking your truth is another thing. And as long as my truth does not offend you, and I'm not being offensive in terms of what I'm saying to you, then I don't really think it should be such a big deal. We should be able to speak our mind. Now, the person that Dave was calling out, he was calling out CNN's reporter, Don Lemon. He called him out. He called out Don Lemon, and he said, Don, you're calling out performers and artists and celebrities to come forward in this thing. He said, but the streets is handling this thing. The youth is handling this thing. And why should anybody give a damn about what a performer has to say? How does the performer become the leader of the black movement? Yes, I'll bring my fans to the movement, but I don't feel like I have to speak at the movement. Because if you really think about it, back in the day, you had Harry Belafonte, you had Sidney Poitier, you had Ruby Dee, and what was her husband? Ozzie Davis, right? And they supported Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King spoke. They spoke their truths, but Martin Luther King spoke. They marched with him and they supported him. So when you guys come with this, Don, when you come with this thing that we're the celebrities, yeah, we're speaking out. LL spoke out. He spoke out, relentlessly on Instagram. And
Kevin Hart
spoke out, right? Beyonce actually spoke out.
All
I saw
of
her
the whole
video.
list of them.
And they spoke out. But now you're saying, well, why aren't you appearing in the marches? They don't need to appear in the marches because the streets is handling this. America is handling this. The youth is handling this. They're handling this situation. So don't turn to me to ask me about what I feel. Don't turn to me as a performer. Listen to them. Put your ear to the street because those are the people that are truly being affected. The brother from Saturday Night Live, what was his name?
Jay Farrell.
Jay Farrell himself said, and I'm realizing this because Lil Wayne said the same thing, and a few other performers said the same thing, especially if you grew up as a performer, quote unquote, I've never experienced racism. I've never experienced racism. And you got to remember, these guys live in a bubble. So maybe they haven't experienced racism. But matter of fact, now they haven't because they said they hadn't, and Jay Farrell said it himself. Because of his celebrity status, he had never experienced racism. So to turn to a performer or a celebrity or an actor or actress and ask them how do they feel about the situation, yes, they're going to feel a certain way because they are black people. However, they can't conceivably understand, really, the racism that regular people face every day. They can't understand that, but then they can't really. They can empathize, they can sympathize with it, but unless you've really been through it, you don't got that fire in your ass. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I've experienced it. I've experienced it in the 80s when I went to school. I experienced racism. I used to live across from Arthur Avenue. Arthur Avenue, the Italians used to come all the time, and they drive in the cars and they screech. We playing in the street, and they be like, "Fuck you niggas!" Excuse me, but I had to say it so you understand the magnitude of what was happening. Mm-hmm. And they would do this stuff. When I went to Columbus High School in the Bronx, it was the Albanians. Right, and they wanted to put a bomb in my locker and all kinds of stuff. So I experienced that racism up front and close. What's interesting is, and here's what I like, is the youth that are marching out there. They have not really experienced that racism. These are kids. I just want to explain it. These are the kids that grew up in the 2000s. What we're looking at now are the 19 and the 20-year-olds that have grown up in everything is acceptable, we're all one people, but they got angry. They're now experiencing racism because they're seeing it in real time, and now they're angry. But their fuel is not the racism. Their fuel is you've attacked their way of thinking that everybody is acceptable, everything is good. It doesn't matter if you're black or you're white or you're Indian or you're gay or you're straight. Everybody is a person. That's their perspective.
They're disgusted.
They're disgusted. Mm-hmm. They're not disgusted because they've been getting beat by cops and all stuff. I'm not saying it hasn't happened to you, but that's not really their fight. Their fight is you've just attacked our way of life. Mm-hmm. And their way of life, for quote unquote, is the flower child. Everything is beautiful. Everybody's equal. Everybody gets a trophy.
This is the section of children that we raised,
right?
Where we didn't want them to have the lives that we had when we were growing up, that we thought were oh so bad. And we gave them everything, and we taught them to share, and don't bully, be nice, and everybody's equal, and you can become president. And guess what? A black man became president. Now let me address that, because see, that's another thing. Because I have a whole, and I'm going to try to keep it calm. There's a whole lot of people talking about Barack Hussein Obama. And he didn't do nothing for the black people. Let me tell you something. I want to address you people who say he didn't do nothing for the black people. And I'm going to make it real simple. He was black. His name was Barack Hussein Obama. If he did nothing else than be black, he did something for the black people. Because he proved that he could get there not once, but twice into the house that black slaves built. He took his wife, did not have a scandal one day, did not screw anybody.
Bill Clinton.
I'm not going to go there because you know what?
JFK.
All he had to do was be black. Now I'm going to address the people who are black, who are of color, who say he didn't do nothing. I didn't agree with everything that he did. There were things that I wished he could have done, and I hoped that he would have done. But I do understand this. When you are the CEO of a corporation, listen to me good, because you have a CEO in office right now.
That's the gig.
When you are a CEO of a corporation, if you think that you can stand at the helm and do what the hell you want to do without having to answer, without having to be opposed, without having to follow the game plan, without having to follow the committees, think again. There was no way that he was going to get in there and do everything that he wanted to do. But oddly enough, in the first 100 days, he did fulfill the agenda that he wanted to fulfill of his most important things. Because y'all ungrateful had health care. You had health care so well put together that this clown has come and made it a priority to get rid of the health care that he went and put in place. Still trying to get rid of it. So no, he didn't do what you wanted him to do for the black people or the people of color, but he did a whole lot for this world. Look at the environment that we're living in here. I haven't seen this type of hate since 1969. People are contemptuous. People are back to calling each other nigger. And I'm not talking about, yo, my nigger. I'm talking about nigger. I have to cross the street. That hasn't happened to me in 20 years. Where people have crossed the street.
30.
There was a sense of peace throughout this country. The only people that were mad were white supremacists and people who were Republicans that didn't want him there. But there were some Republicans that actually got on board and said, you know what, this nigga is making some sense. Let's work with him. Because the quicker we give him what he wants and, he's in here for another term, let's just serve it out and get him out of here. Everybody's complaining right now. Even the people who put him there are complaining right now. I'm talking about the clown in chief, clown mander in chief.
Where are the clowns?
So the whole environment has changed. We weren't like this. We were plentiful. When Barack Obama was in power, it wasn't perfect, but at least you had hope. He gave you hope. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to turn it back to you because we're running. Where are we running on time?
We're about to be at the end of this, but I got to double dutch in, though. Because you said something.
No, it's all you.
You said something that was very important that I think people don't understand, really. You said if you're the president of a corporation, right, that you can't do what you want.
That's right. You got to answer to people.
And you are 5,000,000% right.
And I'm a shareholder.
So now let's take a true look at what really is going on. The United States government is a corporation.
Yep.
It is the number one corporation listed in the corporation book. And that's why, what do you have in a corporation? You have the chairman of the board, you have the president, you have the vice president, you have the secretary, you have the treasury. It is set up like every corporation in the world. And we as the public, we are part of that corporation.
Mm-hmm.
We sign a contract with that corporation with our birth certificate.
Well, you're a commodity.
Which you're a commodity. We sign that we signed that we are part of that corporation when you get your birth certificate, when you do your driver's license, when you get your passport. You are in contract. You are in contract with the corporation of the United States of America. The United States of America is a corporation.
Well, your Social Security number is an actual contract, and you represent a certain amount of money. That's why you listen, that's a whole nother show, because most of y'all don't even realize that you're really born to the District of Columbia, and we're going to do a show on that.
Got to. And then the other thing is, if you ever noticed on any legal document, your legal name is always in capitals.
In capital letters. You have two personalities.
Right? You have your personal name that you call yourself, which you have the big C and then the lower cases. But when it's you versus the United States government or you versus the court, your name is in capitals.
All right, now you're getting into
There's
the
a
sovereignty.
reason for
we
that.
have to do the sovereignty show. We're going to do the sovereignty show because we're going to explain that. There's a lot of things that you're not realizing that are happening right around you, and they start with your birth certificate and your Social Security number, because you are a bond of money. All right, so we're gonna have a show on that, and you know what? We need to tie
Let's
this
tie it up, baby.
because we got
So
another
here's the
show
deal.
coming in.
All right, so what? You know what? Say goodnight, ESP.
Good night, ESP. No, we got to. You
what
got to
was it
think.
I forgot what I was supposed to do.
You getting me out of here already? All right, listen. We want to really thank you for being a part
Next
of the
week,
show.
what are we doing next week?
Next week we're doing. This is a big show, and you guys were supposed to be sending in pictures. We're doing Impact of a Dad, and the subtitle on that show is The State of the Family in Our Community. So that's going to be a hot subject, but we want to give honor and respect to your dads. Okay, so send in your pictures so we can.
Next week is Father's Day.
Yeah, next week Sundays is Father's Day.
That's a good
why.
show. That's a good show. Yeah.
So we want to do something nice. So send your pictures of your dad. Send a picture of you with your dad. You can do a voice message, or a 1 minute message. We're going to put a montage together for you, and we'll enjoy that, and you can show to your dad wherever they are. And you're going to send it to ESP Speaks on the fan page, or you can email it to espspeaks@gmail.com. And remember, on Friday night, we have the Real Discussion with RockLogic, Gary D, ESP, and Robin on... Are you trying to tell me to fix a camera?
No. I was just pointing at the camera. That's all.
That's because he's the lead on that show. That comes on at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday morning at 10 a.m., please, all of my Inner Circle people, Fresh Start Inner Circle people, get on iHeartRadio and listen to tea-loving Tanya Hazlehurst Dawkins. She's fabulous. 10 a.m. on iHeartRadio. And then you have me at 6 p.m. on ESP Speaks at 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m.
So,
and then you also
did I
have
forget anything?
Yes, the Real Discussion with my man Uncle Lazy Lays.
Oh my God, the Raw Discussion.
Yes, there you go. The
with
Raw
Lays,
Discussion,
because
right?
I never know what time he's on.
Well, he's coming on. He does two things. At about 6 in the morning, he does the morning emails that he goes on his Facebook page, and he does that, the morning emails, which is actually great. He does about a 30-minute thing, and he's reading morning emails, and it's pretty slick. He does that. And then later that day, well, he does the morning emails pretty much every day. Mm-hmm. And then on Fridays at 6 p.m., he comes on, and then he does the Raw Perspective. He does that. And then we come on right after him at 7 o'clock, and then we do the Real Discussion with RockLogic.
You really should be a part of Boardwalk Global Media. If you have a dream, seriously, if you have a dream, if you have a podcast, if you have a song, if you have an idea, get the get it out. Come on.
And the new show. How could I forget this? One Night Your TV.
Oh, yes. One Night Your TV.
One Night Your TV, which is about
And what time are
New
they?
York City housing projects, right? And everything that's going on in the New York City housing projects. So we've given NYCHA their own platform. The Tenants Association, you know, they're dabbing in politics. They can have politicians on. It's really a great show. So that's coming on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and that's hosted by Stan Morris from Justice for All, and his co-host is Sandrea Coleman, right? And she's a big activist in NYCHA, and you've seen her before because she's been at the rallies, and she's, you know, before all this thing was going on, she's a speaker.
Yes,
and you see
she
her
just finished suing the city, by the way.
Yeah, you'll see her on Channel 7 sometimes,
Yeah,
Channel 4. So she's really out there. So that's going to be a real good
So
show.
we have so many things for you to choose from, and there's always a forum, there's always a platform, and you know what? Once again, one of those forums, one of those platforms can be yours. If you have a voice and you have a dream and you have an idea, send it in, talk with us. You have the number, that same number that's been scrolling across the screen is the home office number. We're just in the studio right now using it. And I'm going to tie things up now, and I want you to have a great week. I want you to be fabulous. Think about what you're doing with your bodies. Think about what you're doing with your minds. Think about what you're doing with your spirits. And remember this, it's okay to be a little cracked, because it's the only way you can let the light in. We'll see you.
I'm going to let it ride for a second. You're going to get this one around.
You just want to play around, you know?
You know
Didn't
what I'm
I
saying?
give you your own show for this? It's the real discussion. No, it's not. It's ESP Speaks.
Yeah.